remember your roots as you prepare for illumination. What does that mean? Wow. Okay. Friends in all masters, and we are friends of all masters here. Yes, this is one of my favorite masters, Master Jesus. And he is just so beautifully on that picture. Now, did he really look like that? I don't think he was blonde, but it doesn't matter. The picture is done very, very beautifully, and it kind of gives you the energy. Now, how many of you here in this room, and there are not too many here today, and I understand there are other workshops going today also, but everyone who's supposed to be here is here. So I always say I prepare for 300 or 30 or 3, it doesn't matter. It's the same preparation, and it's the same for me to give my love to you. So how many of you here in this circle can identify with being intergalactic in origin and feel or felt that you really didn't belong here? Maybe when you were younger. You have gotten used to it by now because you have no other place to go at this moment. But you felt maybe a little strange. I did from an early child. I always thought, I don't belong here. This is not really, but my inner said, yes, you do. You gotta be here. So I had to get used to all and had to learn these ways over and over again. But deep down in our soul, the ones who can relate that we are intergalactic, and I will explain this a little bit more for the ones who never heard of it or can't even relate to it. Who was Adam and Eve? They were also intergalactic. They're all star seeds. But I'm not going to get into that now, but I'm going to explain what I really tried to say, because this is the time for us to get back to our roots. Each one of you is a star seed. We were seeded here from other planets, from other galaxies, and we came here by choice. And we were seeded here thousands of years ago. And when you go back into reading what the indigenous people believe, and whether they were the Mayans or the Aztecs or the Aborigines, they all are waiting for their space brothers to come back, because they do know that we all came here just for a journey, just for a visit. And yes, we have been here many, many, many thousands of years, back and forth. And there's a reason for that, because we wanted to see what it is like to be in this yin and yang planet. There are more yin and yang planets out in the galaxies, but this blue planet, we call it, this is where we are now, and most likely we've been here many, many times before. But we also have a choice to go after we leave this earth. We can reincarnate somewhere else. So what am I saying here? I'm saying here that since we have left the Piscean age and we are at the very threshold of the Aquarian age, but the doors have swung wide open, we can see a vastness of light in there, and some of us get frightened by that, and so we hold back a little bit. But we will, in these next 2,000 years, move from the third into the fourth dimension if we allow it. The Aquarian age is all about getting into the fourth dimension. So we will pop in and out, pop in and out. And as more as you become aware of your royalty, that you are a king, you are the descendant of a king, then you understand who you are. You are God and goddesses in process, always growing, never finished. And so this is the age of illumination, which is going to trickle down just drop by drop, because we cannot take it all in this lifetime. But that's why we are coming back. So we are moving. when you think about all the masters who have been here, whether it was Krishna or whether it was Buddha, Jesus, they all came from the 7th dimension. Now, we are still in the 3rd, going into the 4th dimension. But when we have become illumined, we will be in the 5th dimension. Now that's going to take some time, and probably not in this lifetime, but we got to start somewhere. And I think it's encouraging when you can feel and see how your life has changed, how you have become more aware of who you are. I say we are all blue-blooded. I know I am, and that's why I'm wearing blue. I always felt blue-blooded, and if you don't, think about that. You are the heirs of the king, and who is the king? The king is the creator. So we are all blue-blooded, and of course we have forgotten, because if we would really know and remember, we wouldn't have these experiences here. You understand what I'm saying? Because you did come on planet Earth to experience the good, the beautiful, the bad, and the ugly. We are here to experience the smorgasbord of all of that. And you have heard me saying that many times. And so there's no creator, there's no God who has said to you, I'm going to make you suffer. This is something you have put upon yourself, of all the consequences of what you have been doing. So there is a payback, but it's not coming from any masters. It's coming from you realizing that you might have to go through some suffering to understand what it is like. And you would say, no, this is not what I ever wanted to do. But yes, it's not being imposed on you. It is something you have asked for. And you made that choice, and nobody has made it for you. And we have set up ourselves to do just that, to grow. And we could have stayed in the spirit world, we could have stayed where everything was beautiful, but we needed to grow. And it's just like if you are in a room which is all light, there's nothing else. It seems like you get bored, you need to have a challenge. And so this earth is definitely the challenge. And sometimes you wish you wouldn't have asked for it, but you need to have it to overcome. We're only here to overcome. Now, it's just like what Frank Sinatra used to sing, I did it my way. I like that song because that's the way I feel. You all do it your way. Is it the right way? Needs to be seen. But all of us, be true to yourself. Don't do things for others if it's only for an obligation. If you can't do it from your love, from your heart, leave it alone. And getting sidetracked here. As we have come on this earth over and over again, we have come to overcome, and we have come to learn, and you know all that, and you keep forgetting. But it is important for you to understand that you are never alone. And we have right and left brain, and the left brain is the ego, and the ego is always there to test you. Where do you stand? And so the ego will always say, I don't think I can do this. So you have to do a balancing act. And I have taught that in yoga, and I teach it in the Reiki, how to balance your chakras. And it starts with your top chakra, and that is the 2 brain sides. And that's very helpful. So if you don't know how to do that, just visualize the light coming in. The light coming into the top of your crown chakra and flooding both sides. And you visualize there are 2 rooms, but you are standing in the middle. So on the left side is the ego, on the right side is the spiritual side, and you are going from both rooms into the middle because you need to be in the middle. You can't just be in the spiritual side and not understand what's going on, and if you work from ego only, you also are not balanced. So this is what we're here for, to balance both sides. And going back to talking about that we are intergalactic. I don't know if some of you watch the History Channel. I just love that channel because there's so much talk about aliens, and to me it rings true. Maybe to somebody else it's off the wall. To me it's just, I can really relate to that. But because when I was 9 years old, my mother said to me, she says, "Oh, where do you think you come from, Sigi line?" And I looked at her straight in the eye, and I remember I'm saying, "I'm a Pleiadian." And of course, to say that in German, I said, "Ich bin ein Pleiadier." That means I'm a Pleiadian. My mother looked at me. She didn't. You wouldn't know what she thought. She just said, "Yes, I believe that. And why do you think you're here?" And I said, "I'm here to learn." I have to tell you that my mother was very metaphysical, and she raised me into this kind of knowledge and thinking. And she said that when she carried me in the womb, that she said that she knew that I would be different from my siblings, and that she can share with me metaphysics, which she couldn't with my others. And so that has helped me a great deal in my life to deal with what's on my plate, because I do realize that I have brought it on myself to overcome. So I think that all of us who are, whether we are from the Pleiades, or whether we are from Sirius, or whether we are from Vega, you name it, there's so many different star systems. And all the different races, they all come from different star systems. And they all came here, they were seated here. Why? To learn to get along. And so we have a lot of work to do. And once we understand that we are star sisters and brothers, sometimes it's when we say we're all brothers, it may be a little bit, it sounds like, yeah, that's a cliche. It sounds like you are, good. It's not easy to understand, but I do believe that. I do believe that we all came here to learn to get along, and that's why we have different races. And I feel personally that I have been, in my thousands of times I've been here, I've been through every race. I have been male and female many times, and I really feel that this is my last incarnation on this earth, because I really feel I have been through, I have learned, and that doesn't mean I'm not gonna come back, but not on this earth. So maybe all of you can relate to that too, and feel that when you look around and you see the people having so many problems, and one thing after the other, often it is that people have said, "I want everything in my incarnation this time. I don't want to have to come back. I want everything to happen now so I can go through it and make up for the karma I have created in other lifetimes." And so for some of us it's really overwhelming, of course. So this could be also happening that you have asked to do, instead of a couple lifetimes, you want to do everything in this lifetime to finish off. Sometimes it really looks like that. But if you think about what the masters have taught us, the Master Jesus said, "My kingdom is not of this world." He said that when he went back, when he ascended, the crowd saw him ascending. And he was one of the masters who taught mankind. He said, "Everything I can do, you can do also." He knew that all the people he dealt with were masters. Each one of them were masters. But he also knew that we had forgotten purposely when we came. So he knew that when he dealt with his crucifixion and all that, that the masters who did that to him did that because, Lord, forgive them because they don't know what they're doing. And he really meant that, because we had all changed to become this third dimensional thinkers. And so if we understand that even Jesus knew that we were equal to him, but we just have forgotten. Think about that. Each one of you, you are beautiful, beautiful light beings. And when you have a task before you, and when you have to go places and you feel a little bit run down, all you have to do is stand up and open your arms and feel the light coming in. Ask for it and feel it, that it's downloaded to you, because it's there and it's free. It's for all of us. But I feel that in this lifetime, I just know a fact that my gift is of reading people, and I can read them like a book, and it's like reading a letter, and you read what you don't write. You read between the lines, and I think sometimes I wonder. I don't necessarily want that, because I see something that really kind of distracts me, but then I also understand that helps me to deal with the situation. But I really feel, how does that happen? Some of us are more judges of characters, you would say. And why is that? I believe it's because when you have been here so many times, that you know that you have been the abuser and the abused. You know that you have been the controller and the controlled, and you have been the victim and the tyrant. You have been all. And so that's the only way you really can understand where people are. And this is why I can read men or women, and I know what makes us tick, And so that has helped me a great deal in my life, and has made me maybe less judgmental, because I already know the next move. It's because, why do I know that? Because I've been there, done it myself, good and not so good. So that's a knowledge, and so I can see this in other people without judging. That's what I'm trying to say. So this is what happens when people say you're an old soul. Now, I mean, old compared to whom, I mean, compared to what? Thousands of incarnations, and each one of us here have been here many, many times. But of course, we have forgotten, and as we read into metaphysics and we read the books of people who are talking about past lives, maybe it rings something true in your heart too. Each one of you can choose which planet you want to go to in next incarnation. You don't have to come back here. And you will, when you have passed the Hall of Memory and you have understood what planet would be the best school for you. It's not going to be somebody saying you have to go back there. But you will know yourself, because you are all knowing. Right now you're not. I don't know all that. Yes, you do. And when you pass over, everything is again very clear, made clear to you. And yes, Christianity or Judaism and Islam are not teaching any of this, because they want their power over the masses. They want you to stay ignorant and fearful, especially fearful, because with fear of never being good enough, fear of not being going to heaven, so to speak, which some people still think it's a place, that keeps them down and keeps the churches holding on. So this is more and more and more becoming less, becoming less, especially in Europe. Not that they are secular, they 90% believe in God, but they don't want to go to the churches anymore, because they have been taught nothing but fear-based teachings, and they understand that this is really not. And so this is all coming in the new age, that we all understand that. more or less, some slower than others. What is happening in this life now, and I've been saying this, that this is the year of masterhood, that you need to tap into who you are. You are a master. And yes, that doesn't mean you are perfect, because it's an ongoing process. Because you go from one dimension to the other, and the ladder up to heaven, there's no end. So it's a constant growing. I think that's beautiful. And we are waking up to our own divinity, friends. That's what we're here for. And as I said, this is the year, and we're in the 11th month of this year. I want you to really take charge and realize who you are. You are very, very beautiful, and you are very, very knowledgeable. Stop saying, I don't know this, I don't know if I can do that. Yes, you can. How? By tapping in who you are, tapping into that inner being. You can call it the Christ within, you can call it by any master's name. It's you. That's when you pray and you use different masters or you use different saints, they're helping you. They're helping you to get that energy centered to where you are, the Christ within, God within, because that's who you are, and you have it all. And I remember in the old church, at the old rugged cross, Reverend Violet, you remember that? And I was sometimes I knew that the people were not too keen on listening to what I had to say at that time, early 90s, and but I had my mission, and I just kept on teaching what I came to do. And I always said, God is not a man or a woman. God is spirit, and it's within you. And like the song goes, you don't need a church, you don't need a synagogue. All you need is tap in. You are the church on two legs. Wherever you go, you are already ministers. Okay? Don't have to have the reverend title to minister to somebody in need. And
Sigi?
Yes.
Do you remember when I blew their socks off when I told them that Jesus wasn't Christ?
Yes.
Christ was not a person.
Yes.
Man.
Yes.
Blew them away.
Yes. Well, we were losing a lot of people there. I tell you that. I said, well, they can't follow us, so we just have to let them go. And but we were here to teach that, and Reverend Violet and I, we were always on the same wavelength doing that. And I want to say again that there are star systems and constellations that are beyond our frequency of understanding, but they still affect you and me. And they are our friends. They are our friends, and they know you, and they know me, and on a soul level, we have always known that we are being watched. We are being watched by benevolent beings. You can call them angels, you can call them spirit guides, but they're all around you. And people all know about star people. The indigenous people in America, they talk about it, whether you go out to Colorado, Arizona, wherever you go. Their race, their tribes, they talk a lot, and when you see the paintings in the walls, it looks like thousands of year-old pictures of almost like astronauts. You can see also in the pyramids when you look closely. So I mean, to me, this is fascinating that we came here on this earth to populate and to help each other and to grow. And they will come back again. They will come back, just like we teach. Jesus is coming back. The Imam is coming back. You know, Buddha is coming back. It's all the frequency of love. It's all. It doesn't matter who that that person comes into a person to help us. But that will not happen until we are ready. And so we have to prepare ourselves. So our life right now is so, so precious. Let us remember that. Let us remember that why we're here. And when you take that time, and if it's only 10 minutes, you need to take that time, shut off all your gadgets, and only in the quietness can you really contact spirit. You know, like Jesus said, be still and know that I am God. He knew that only in stillness can you know who you are. I am God. You cannot hear that when you have everything going. So you need to regroup. If it's 10 minutes a day or before you go somewhere, take a couple deep breaths and say, Lord, work through me now. And then do a mantra. I am that I am. I am that I am. You can say that over and over till you get to the place. And then you're going to be charged. I do it all the time. And this connection, call it God, call it ancestors, call it spirit of universe. It matters not what you call this source. This is the source you can really only contact in stillness. I cannot say it enough. Because with all the things we have in this new age of technology, we keep forgetting. And all these gadgets also drain us physically because of radiation. And I'm not saying now be afraid of that, but take time to get recharged. That's what it's all about. You might need a little bit more to be more charged because of that, because the physical is also important, okay? And each one of us have many gifts. We came with gifts, so let's share them. It's just like when we come here, we are so grateful, and we are so happy to listen to Melanie and her group playing. This is what uplifts this pod. We speakers are, I find we're secondary. This music is really, really what brings us here. Let's face it. And yes, we like to hear a message, but even every speaker cannot always reach all of you. That's why I always say, if I reach 1 or 2 people in my talk, I've done my job, because you're not always on the wavelengths of others. But the music, Melanie, brings us all together. And so it's beautiful, and I'd like to take that opportunity to thank you again. You are the soul of this place. And we reverence, we are just helping. We're helping to keep us together in the spiritual way also, as we like to teach and be a good example, of course. And since we are here in November, I can only say again, this is the month in America of Thanksgiving. In Europe, it's October when the harvest is finished, but here we celebrate in November. And let us remember what a month to be alive again in this age, and to be able to give thanks for all that we have received, alone that we are able to come here and enjoy being together. So this is the month of Thanksgiving, and let's all, when we eat our turkey or whatever, let us give thanks, and give thanks to the turkey too, okay? I always do. I thank the animal I'm eating for having allowed to take its life, because it didn't give its life, but we took it, and they know in their consciousness that that's what they came to be. They know that, okay? So I'd like to say again, I'm running out of time here, that this is the year of enhancing your and my cellular structure by the radiant white light of who we are. Jesus said, "Are ye not all gods?" That's what Jesus said. Let that sink in. God in me greets God in thee. Shanti, Shalom, Adonai.
Grow